Hello, Naomi Dawn here from the Stampin Stashes, and welcome to part 4 of the Build a Mini project, otherwise known as BAMP 2018. So for today's page you will need a basic page, the cardstock that you're building your pages from, your DSP or pattern paper, and as usual I'm working with double-sided. This is painted with love. And a sheet of a paler coloured cardstock, as I instructed in the first video. I'm working with Very Vanilla. Okay. Tools wise, you will need something to cut with, something you can score with, whichever adhesive you're using, and you might want a pair of scissors for this one. It depends on how confident you are with your cutting tool that you're using, if you're using a trimmer. So let's clear the decks. We are going to start off with, let's start off with this one. So you want your plain cardstock that you're using to build your pages, and you will need your cutting and scoring tools. Okay, yeah, open the arm up. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, the first thing we are going to do, I'll show you on the cut sheet. Right, there's a lot of cutting today. The first thing we're going to do, you can see I've got this landscape. We're going to cut a 3-inch strip. So this bit is 3 inches wide. Okay, put this to one side, we'll need that in a second, got a lot more cutting to do. Now we're going to cut 2 pieces. The first piece we're going to cut is 5 3/4 inches. Remember, if you join the group on Facebook, the Stampin Stashers group I should say, all of the cut sheets are there plus the bonus material. Okay, we're going to cut this to 5 3/4. Okay, and then we need a piece that is 3 inches. Okay, this piece we don't need for now, but don't throw it away, because you may have noticed in earlier pages in the bonus material we do use up the scraps as much as we can. Okay, let's get back to this piece. Okay, so this is 5 3/4 by 3 inches, and what we're going to do is we're going to score along the short sides. So the first score line is at 5 1/4 inches. Okay, and then you're going to rotate 180 degrees, and we're going to score again at 5 1/4 inches. Then along your long side we are going to score at 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so these are your 5 1/4 scores, and as I explained in an earlier video, it's easier for you to score, like to measure like from here to here and go 5 1/4, than it is to have like that kind of dip like that and try to measure, like score there at 1/4 inch. It's just too awkward, it's unnecessary. Okay, so scored at 5 1/4, 5 1/4 and 2 1/2. Measurements will be on the screen, and as I said, in the group you'll get the cut sheet. The next thing we are going to do, now you can do this with scissors or you can do this on your trimmer. So I'll do one corner with the scissors and I'll do one corner with the trimmer. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a line across here. We're going to niter the corners. I think we talked a bit about nitering the corners in another video. So you'll see I've gone up to the score lines, but I haven't cut them off. So that leaves me a nice tidy corner. And I'm going to show you this on the trimlet as well. So this is your guide line here. So it's just up to the score lines that doesn't cut the cut corner off. Okay, so that's all we're going to do with that for now. Now the other piece we cut was the 3x3 piece, and we're going to score this at 2.5 inches all the way around. And you'll end up with this. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to cut diagonally to get 2 triangles. Again, do this how you feel comfortable. Do it with scissors if you prefer that way, do it with a craft knife and a metal ruler, or use your trimmer. On your trimmer, see if I can get in some closer. I hope this is in focus. You need to make sure that your points line up with the guide rail. Okay, make sure that's nice and straight, and cut. You'll end up with 2 triangles. Come out a little bit. Okay, take your triangles. Now we're going to cut straight across the dot edge. Okay, so where we had the point of the triangle, we're cutting straight across. Again, you don't want to cut across the score lines, you just want to cut there. So we're going to do this with both pieces. And I am getting all of the cut work out of the way today before we start on DST. Please do not jump ahead. Okay, so we've got 2 of those. Right, so the next thing we are going to do is we're going to cut 2 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So go back to your original piece of cardstock that we cut the 3-inch strip off, and we are going to cut this to 4 1/4 inches wide. And then we're going to cut at 5 1/2. And another one to 5 1/2. Okay, put back to one side. Okay, the next thing you will need is your plain cardstock, your lighter coloured one that I'd asked you to get. And what we're going to do is cut 4 pieces that measure 5 inches, let's do it on here, 3 3/4 inches, and again this will be at the bottom of the screen, by 5 inches. So the way we do this is Okay, whilst a lot of cutting now, we are going to cut our DST and the cut sheet you've already seen for this. You've seen how this cut work goes. Now for me, I need to decide if I want mine to go that way up or that way up, because I'm not tatting on the back. I'm going to go with vertical stripes, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go with vertical stripes. Okay. So I'm just deciding where I want the colours. Okay, so as usual we are going to cut a 5-inch piece. Actually, I'm going to go the other way up, sorry. I want a 5-inch strip as usual, which I will cut down to 2 6-inch strips. This is the same as we did on the other pages. Then I'm going to cut a piece to 9 inches. I've just realised my piece is not going to end up vertical, but never mind. Oops, sorry. Cut to 9 inches. Then we're going to go this way and cut to 6 inches. I'm sorry if I seem to be going fast, but if you've watched the earlier videos, we've done this a couple of times before. And the measurements will be at the bottom of the screen, or on the screen. Yeah, I did do it right. And then we're going to cut in half again to 4.5. Please don't stick anything down at this point. Don't rush ahead, there's a reason. That is all of the cut work, pretty much, for now. Okay. Basic page. So inside the basic page, and this is where we start to stick things, but don't rush ahead because you need to know what's going on. Inside the basic page we need one of the bigger pieces. If you see, we cut one piece bigger. This one measures 5 by 6, this one measures 4.5 by 6, yeah, and on the pages we've done before they will sit here, that's a smaller piece, and here. Okay, I'm actually going to have mine this way up. I kind of like the idea of having the stripes going in 2 different directions, you know. Normally I have 2 different patterns there, but I think I'm going to go with one today, but 2 ways up. Or does that make it look odd? We'll go that way. I'm not feeling that brave. You know what, let's go for it. Right, only stick down this piece. So you want to try and get the same margin along the top and bottom as you have at the side, which means you've got it centred. Okay, do not stick anything down. I know I keep saying this, but it's important. Okay, so we're now going to work on this side of the page, and you'll need the smaller piece that we selected earlier, which is the 4.5 by 6 inch piece. You will need the piece we cut at the beginning that measured 5 3/4 by 3 inches. That's that piece. And this is actually the offcut that you've got left over. It's one of the two offcuts. That's the offcuts you get from cutting your basic paper. So this is the piece that we cut off of the bottom. You'll need that. So we're going to cut this down to 4 1/4 by 2 inches. So 4 1/4 by 2 inches. And that piece will sit in there. Now I know that's a lot of pattern going inside, but when we do the next step you will understand. Well, not the next step, but as the video progresses you will understand why I put so much pattern in one place. Too much glue in that corner. Okay, turn it over and we're going to fold along the score lines. You see what I mean about the knitted corners? If I'd have left this so it was square, those pieces would have been stuck over each other, so you'd have ended up with a bulky bit that was like 3 layers thick. By mitering the corner, it just sits nice and neat. Okay, take your smaller piece of DSP. This is the one, as I said before, that measures 4.5 inches by 6 inches. Okay, you're going to slot that into your pocket, and your pocket is a little bit wider on purpose. Okay, so make sure that's sitting in the middle. Flush to your bottom crease. And I'd actually recommend turn that way. Okay, so it's centred between those two score lines. It butts up against the bottom crease. Yeah. Add your adhesive to the bottom crease first, to the bottom flap. And that helps it stay centred while you're doing the other two. Now there are lots of different ways to do pockets. This is just one. And you can do this with tape or wet glue, it's up to you. Okay, instant pocket. So now we're going to take our basic page and that's why I decided to go that way with that one, because that ties in here. And we're going to glue that inside the basic page, or your base page. I prefer this type of pocket to one where you just stick straight down onto the page. I find this to be a stronger pocket. It's less likely to split, because if you just glued along the edges and stuck a piece of cardstock on top, which is another way to do a pocket, the sides can come loose if you haven't put enough glue, or someone handles your album too roughly. So by having it tucked under like this, I find it's just I find it easier to make, and I find it less worrisome that someone's going to break one of the sides or the bottom. Okay, so that's the inside done. Now I'm going to stick this piece here. Do not stick this piece on yet, please. Okay, right now we just want this one, and I will show you why in a second. Everyone's got their own way of making albums, and if you're a beginner, you'll learn how to do it this way if this is your first video, or you'll learn from a bunch of other videos that you've watched. And as you're going along, you'll develop your own techniques for doing things, what works well for you, what you do and don't like, watching other tutorials or just making it up yourself. You'll get there, you'll find your way of doing things. And I'm sure the ones who are watching that have done albums before, there's some of the bits that I'm doing, you're going, why is she doing it like that? It's because it's not how you do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm quite happy if you put in comments the way that you do it. Maybe I can learn, because I like to learn. Okay, now this is the last piece that's going on, and it will sit here. Please don't glue that yet, we've got more work to do. So do you remember these triangles that we made earlier? We're not going to cover these. We are just going to fold. Again, it's going to fold. You can put some DSP on here if you'd like to. I'm not going to today because it doesn't suit the style of what I'm doing. But it's up to you. You can decorate that. Okay. So you see how the mitred corners meet there? You don't overlap. You don't end up with a big bulky bit in the corner. So decide which way up your DSP is going. Mine's going that way up. That's going to get slotted onto that corner. And then we're going to glue. This stuff looks complicated, but once you know what you're doing, it's really not. Okay, I'm personally going to glue my other one here so that I've got a space for my mat to go in. You can actually put the other one on the opposite corner if you want to, but if you're a beginner, my suggestion, put it here, and then at another later date know the experiment with putting them on opposite corners, because the way you put your mat in, the size of your mat and how it's used, it changes by putting it on the two corners. So for today I'm just going to go like this. Let's see, get everything lined up nice and tight. Add some glue. Okay, as I said, you could put something here if you want to, but I'm not going to. Right, so my binding strip is here, and this, we've done this before, so you know that you need to put this more towards the left hand side. Binding strips that side, you want to go more towards that side because you don't want to be punching holes in this section. Okay. So there's your page. Okay, but we need something to put in these. So this is where this comes in. Please don't stick this down yet. And if you're a beginner to making mini albums, you may have you may have heard me mention photo nats. Now, a photo nat is simply something you can stick a photo on. So everywhere in your album that there's a piece of paper, you can stick a photo, but this gives you extra photo space. Okay, it fits in the pocket. You can put as many nats as you like. For this one, I'm only putting one. So I could leave this black as it is and just add photos. But a lot of people like to decorate their nats, which is why you've got this. So if you want, you can go ahead and stick your plain cardstock onto the nats and do both sides. Now, before you do that, I recommend checking out the bonus video, because I'm actually going to do something else with the nats. Okay, just to add a bit of extra flavour, shall we say. So if you just want to keep them plain, haven't got a lot of supplies, just stick your plain cardstock on, or leave them as they are, and it'll go in that pocket there. And your other one will sit in that pocket there. So you can leave it plain, you can add your plain cardstock, or you can watch the bonus video that's coming up that you can find in the Stampin' Stashes group on Facebook, and you'll get some more tutorial. So that's all for now. Any questions, any comments, anything you could think could have been done differently, I don't mind. Give me a shout, because I love to hear from you all. And if you're in the group, I'd love to see pictures of what you've made so far. It inspires me and it inspires other people in the group. So thanks again for dropping by. Don't forget the bonus material and your cut sheets in the group. Talk to you all soon. Bye.